I'm George Boston Rhines with a social media publication called the Get to Free Press. Let me give my thanks to the federal government, Department of Justice, to the Kendrick Johnson parents, families, and those that surround him, including the most honorable attorney, Shaveen King, along with the freedom fighters that have stood with that family for 8 years through difficult, unresolved issues here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. I would like to thank CNN, MSNBC, all the news media outlets that covered the Kendrick Johnson case. Members of law enforcement, the good ones, and to the students at Lowndes County High School that spoke with me following the death of Kendrick Johnson, who was found dead at the Lowndes County High School January 11th, 2013. I want to thank Sheriff Ashley Polk for taking up this issue, and we hope that maybe a thorough investigation can be conducted. But if there is no thorough investigation, this country must understand that in the end, truth, right, and justice will win in the end. The things that are buried beneath the rubbish pile will be coming up again. Make no mistake about it. This case dealing with the death of this young man has reached all across the world today. And the question is asked, can there be justice in the southern town of Valdosta in Lowndes County, Georgia? So now it was determined by somebody that this case would be reopened. And the case was returned to Lowndes County, Georgia, to the sheriff to investigate the information and documents that the federal government had in their possessions. But I understand they've been returned here to Valdosta for another investigation. I'm doing this video to say to the news media, elected officials, and law enforcement, when this second investigation began, make sure that it is an investigation. The first investigation is much like the first autopsy. And I'm asking these investigators, being a novice at this and as a social media guy, some questions that I think need to be answered even to the public. When that young man's body was found, why could not the mother and the parents ID that man's body? Questions should be answered publicly. Who was responsible for opening and closing that gymnasium? Who was responsible for the operation of the cameras at Lowndes County High School gymnasium? What happened to the videos? Why there's so many questions by CNN that went unanswered? Questions needs to be answered. Why was it necessary to tell the students over the intercom system not to discuss the death of Kendrick Johnson? Questions needs to be answered about the timeline of people of interest in this case. Questions, above all, questions need to be as a base or foundation. Being retired from the military and working with law enforcement, as well as the Office of Special Investigation, the OSI, the question, if they denied the parents the right to ID, whoever made that determination, was it legal? Was corrective action done that it didn't happen again? With the cameras, the person responsible, was they counseled, reprimanded, or given training that it would not happen again? Whoever it was, whose job it was to open and close the gymnasium, what did they have to say about this case? How could the investigators leave the blood stains on the wall in the gymnasium and nobody saw anything about it, yet they say they investigated? Questions need to be answered. People needs to be counseled or reprimanded. And somebody needs to be held responsible. If the body was moved, who found the body? Who was the student that called people? Now, I know you all got all that information, but the general public, I know because I've had students to tell me that it just could have been a love affair. Now, we don't want rumors, but the family wants justice. So I go back and I ask a question. What corrective action was done that the crime scene, if another person is found dead, what corrective action was done to the people that failed to secure that crime scene? What action was taken when the coroner was not called? Who was counseled? Who was reprimanded? Who was responsible for that unprofessional conductivity? Who was responsible? Special Investigator Mr. Bowe and the investigator from Jacksonville, They called me. They wanted to meet with me. And we did meet. And I haven't talked much about that. But they wanted to let me know that they could not get access to the Lowndes County Gym as they had done in other death cases or cases similar to that. There was a block in terms of them getting out there to do the investigation as they normally does in cases such as this. I did not go to Mr. Bowe, Investigator Bowe, nor the other investigator from Jacksonville. They found me. And we walked the streets of Valdosta, Weisenbaker Lane. We knocked on the door to the female janitor that worked at Lowndes County High School, who had been frightened out of her wits. First she was going to talk to us, and all of a sudden, somebody visited with her and she no longer wanted to talk. We walked over on Oak Street, that area back out in that area, or they asked me to. And the next thing I knew, Lowndes County Sheriff Department under Sheriff Prime saw a need to stop me during the march of the KJ family up near the Board of Elections building. And he put me on a verbal criminal trespass for not violating any law just because they wanted to. And then I was going on to the graduation for 2013 at Lowndes County High School, and Deputy Thomas stopped me again, told me that if I go on any part of that school, I would be arrested. So they put me on a bogus criminal trespass. And after 8 years, I've asked for them to remove me in writing from that bogus, disgraceful, racist, unwritten criminal trespass. They sent me a letter from Superintendent West Taylor and one from former Sheriff Prime stating that they don't have anything in their records on me. Nothing. I sent them another letter requesting that they remove me in writing, and they refused to do it. I went on to that property and addressed the all-white male Lowndes County School Board of Education board with the Superintendent West Taylor. They never even provided a courteous response. So under the Southern Judicial Circuit of Valdosta and Lowndes County, I remained under a criminal trespass because they never removed me in writing. And although they didn't put my criminal trespass in writing, after the death of Kendrick Johnson, to stop me, I guess, as a member of the press, one that was not controlled, possibly by those in the clique and among the slicks. So I guess that would silence me, possibly from reaching the kids or witnesses who would speak, because I definitely was going to report it. And so, just wanted you all to know that this morning. I'm happy, I'm delighted when I received a call that this case would be returned to Lowndes County, to Sheriff Polk, to be investigated. I'm asking that during the investigation, that somebody look into why they put me under a criminal trespass when I violated no law. I talked to CNN, Victor Blackwell, about my criminal trespass. He didn't see a need to look into it. Doc Robertson cut videos explaining that by them trying to silence me could very well been a cover-up by those who was trying to keep something secret. But yet they never, ever investigated. Why would they take on an illegal act to put me under a criminal trespass as a member of the social press? What did they have to hide? Now, as I close, some of you all may say, Rhymes, what do you have to do with all of this? Well, may I explain in my closing? Nothing. Nothing. But because of my activism since 1975, I did not know the father of Kenneth Johnson, KJ, Daddy. I didn't know KJ Daddy. I knew his wife because we used to go to Mount Morale Holiness Church, Everlasting Temple in the Word of God, under Bishop John H. Donaldson. Outside of that, I didn't know him. I was at home about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and I received a call. And Kenneth said to me, Brother Rhymes, I want to talk to you in the morning. They found my son dead at Lowndes County High School. I want to talk to you about it. I said, no, sir, I don't operate like that. Give me your address. I'll be there in a few minutes. I got up out of the bed. I journeyed over, and that was my introduction to the Kendrick Johnson family. And I'm going to continue to do what I do. You can't make me back down from the calling my God gave me at the age of 14 years of age. I don't talk about it much. There are a lot of things I want to talk about. But God will not let me talk about it. Oh, I know some stuff, y'all. Some of this stuff should be published. Many of you, if you had it, you would publish it. But I'm not called for that purpose. I'm called for a greater purpose. And this is why I do what I do. This is why I'm hated by those who hate God, those who hate Muslims, those who hate Jews, those who hate the Hindu, and those who hate you. They also hate me. But those who love the God of creation, the Jesus of the book, who had to be a black man, had to be a black man. But I didn't know that in my younger years. I don't hate nobody today. Didn't hate nobody yesterday. That's not the nature of my flavor, nor the flavor of my nature. I was brought up in Brooks County, and I know what wicked white folks have always done. Thank God for my grandmother, Eliza Bryant. When I was a boy, along with my brother Charles, my grandma sat us down and told us how to get along in this white man's world. And above all, when the young folk back in the 70s wanted to pick up weapons of war to get even with the members of the white race, my grandmother gave us another level of love. And I took the nuggets that she gave me, I studied, and I took them to the next level. And that's why I learned silent tongue carries a wise head. The third eye will pick up on information that these two can never see. What you hear, a listening ear, does not have to be spoken on the streets or on the byways. My grandmother taught us well. I first went into the military. Lord have mercy, I'm gonna quit, y'all. The gist of what I'm saying is this. I'm retired from the armed forces. But if my grandma had sat us down as black men and taught us what was going on in God's world, we could have made some mistakes in life. Could have got into wrong organizations and become haters of white folk, like white folk have hated us. My grandmother, with a third grade education, was the wisest professor I ever met in my life. She said to me, you can't fight that white man with weapons of war. We are yet at a war, but God said this is his war. And God said that he will win this war. Black man, black woman, and black children. God have not forsaken you, man. God knows what's going on. And God is going to resolve this once and for all. I know. I know it's been a long time. But God is the one to fix this. So, to the Kenneth Johnson family, I say to you like my grandma said, don't trust in man. God will bring it out. And everything that is happening in this country today, believe it or not, is en route, Satan to Satan. 1,000 miles above Route 66. And in the end, truth, right, and justice will win. Y'all know I've been saying that since 1975. And I've gone through a lot, in and out of the military. I got a whole story to tell about my experiences in the military. But I don't talk about that much, y'all. Why don't you, Brother Ryans? You can help somebody. Ecclesiastes 8:8 says, no man has power over the spirit to retain the spirit. For those who are called, chosen, and elected of God, move as the Holy Spirit led them. I don't be in church like you. I don't play your games. I used to. I listen for another tone, greater than the A tone. So I want to say to the people of Valdosta, when the KJ family call you out to support them, if you're concerned about your own children, you should join them. You should join them. When you hear there's a march, or when you hear there's a court case, you should join them. The first press conference on the courthouse steps, I was there. I had cut one video before that press conference, and I pleaded to the news media not to suppress the information in that case like they had done in so many other cases. And I'm going to continue to do what I do, simply because I obey another God. I used to follow a God and a Jesus who had me scared as hell. I wouldn't speak up for a damn thing. And I was talking about I'm on my way to heaven. How in the world can the preachers talk about going to heaven and they haven't even found the highway of holiness yet? Now, in today's paper, and I'm going to say this. I know about the ethics of journalism and ethics in the media. We're not supposed to talk about other papers. They call it ethics. Now, the city council meeting and the platform they got set up to investigate the mayor of Valdosta, Scott James Matheson, they chose 3 people. Arthur McLean, Tunison, and of course Robert Jefferson. He's a black man, I think. I think he was also the black man that was in the Bible Park, renaming that park, that committee that came together. He's a black guy. Why is it that it's always the same black folk they choose? I ain't got nothing against him. Eric Howard, the city council person. You sit among 3 other black council members. You made your statement clear in the paper. And I agree with you as a member of the press that this don't look like a credible coalition of people here to investigate this complaint against this mayor. And I'm not saying whether I'm for or against it. That's not the issue. The issue is why. And then they said they couldn't find nobody qualified or who was willing to get on to join the committee or be considered for it. White people, please don't play that game with us. We know what you mean when you say you need the best qualified. Y'all excuse me for going on, but I'm pregnant and can't give birth. You wanted the best qualified state patrols. So that's why blacks couldn't be state patrols. You wanted the best qualified to be president of the United States, so you didn't elect no black presidents because they weren't qualified. Representatives. I Love Lucy didn't have no blacks on it because there was no black qualified. Bonanza, no blacks because they wasn't qualified. Stagecourt, West Tombstone, Territory, Rawhide, Popeye, Matt Dillon, and Pat Garrett, the Tall Man, Billy the Kid, Pat Garrett, all these shows they had the best qualified. But no blacks, because blacks wasn't qualified because they didn't have the complexion for the protection. And you think I believe what you are saying? See, the black man, woman, and their children believed you yesterday because we used to display that white Jesus in our churches. And we believe that if you're white, you're all right. And if you're black, get back. If you're brown, hang around. But today, the God of our ancestors have allowed us to focus on the pineal gland, the third eye, the pineal gland. I listen to pineal music. I focus on the third eye, the spiritual eye. And I ain't no damn Cyclops either. But in the KJ case, and let me say this because it is indeed the truth, the Valdosta news media outlets is the best news. Let me say it again. I saw some of y'all took your earplugs. Let me say this again. The news in Valdosta in Loudoun County is the best news money can buy. Want me to say it again? It is the best news money can buy. And it's all calculated. And in today's paper, the Valdosta Daily Times, my only local newspaper for the last X number of years, keep publishing stuff like open government, much better government. All through this paper, sunshine laws, open government is public policy, penalties imposed for open government violations, taking note of what local governments must publish, and sunshine weekend, politics notice should always be published. This paper is filled up with open government, but Valdosta Daily Times, WALB TV, NBC, CBS, and the rest of you all, where were you when they put me under this criminal trespass? Why haven't you all published that? Mr. Editor of the Valdosta Daily Times, why haven't you published that? Why have you not published WALB, WCTV, following the death of Kendrick Johnson, that they took a black man and took away his rights, and you won't even publish the damn thing, information. And it is indeed a disgrace. And don't think people ain't talking about you. They talking about you bad, man. They talking about you better than I talk about you. Because I know why you did it. Jesus told me why you did it. He didn't just speak to me. They spoke to the world. Jesus said, my sheep know my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. You are a stranger to truth. That's why you didn't publish it. Jesus told it to you, are a father. Say, you are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. For the righteous do the works of the righteous one. Wait a minute. I heard you thinking. What happened when I stood before Valdosta City Council and talked about the children didn't have nothing to play with in the Hudson Dock area. You didn't publish that. When the man was found dead in the hedgery on the south side, you didn't publish that. When the police officer allegedly committed suicide, y'all didn't publish that. When the 14-year-old girl was hogtied at Pine Grove Middle School and her mama called all the TV stations in front of the Valdosta Daily Times and gave them information, they didn't publish that. The Quitman 10+2 Lula Smart case, a 19-day court case, and y'all ignored all of that. And when she was found not guilty, we called all of the South Georgia news media, and y'all didn't publish that. Now call me a liar. We can back it up because we talked about it, and I interviewed people in front of the courthouse. We walked from the courthouse to the post office, U.S. Post Office in Quitman, with Mr. Boone, who lied on the stand, according to the NAACP president at the time. The late Pastor Avery said David Miller lied on the stand in the KJ case. Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp lied on the stand in Brooks County in that court case when she was cleared of all charges. And later, all them other 12 outstanding professional people was cleared. But not before Latasha Head died. She was a lupus patient. I talked to her dad. Her daddy said he believed the stress, the pain, and heartbreak is the reason his daughter died. But who gonna pay for that? On all these bogus charges made up by the wicked. Black man, black woman, and black children. I know your pain, man. I feel your pain. I was in pain for over 20 years in the military. They wouldn't let me forget that I was black. You hear what I say? I was due to get another strike. No, I don't want to talk about that. It's things happening to me in the military I want to talk about, but my God said, not yet. Not yet. I'm telling you, if you live in a black house, and if you are the original man, or woman, or child, you're going to catch hell in this world. And now we have interracial marriages and interracial children and mixed breed. When them little black and white children get ready to go get jobs, these white folk gonna raise hell off the housetop. Because they want their children to be treated just like white folk. Now, who could orchestrate something like that but a God? I have more white people now talking to me, telling me what goes on behind closed doors. They tell me about the meetings, as well as those that go on in the woods out here on 84. White folk not talking, telling us what's going on because they are fed up with it. But Ryan, what you mean by that? Ain't nothing to rejoice in. Just thank God for Jesus, who said that these days would come as it was in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. And what is that Son of Man that gonna be? Y'all go to church, but you don't preach this. Y'all looking for the return of Jesus. Who are you looking to return? Who are you looking for to come back? The book say he coming back on the cloud. Well, who is that? Your pastor won't tell you that. I'm going to tell you today who he is. Jesus said, I'm coming back again. What was he talking about? Matthew says, 24th chapter, 35th verse, heaven and earth would pass away, but my word would stand forever. The book says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me. Who is coming back here, y'all? Who's coming back on the cloud? You looking for a man? A white man on the cloud? Or are you looking for a black man on the cloud? Or a Japanese or a German or a Chinese man on the cloud? Who's coming back again? excuse my expression, it ain't no damn man coming back. It's the truth. It's the truth coming back. And the question is, when truth comes, will you stand up with truth? Are you willing to go back with truth? Are you willing to stand with truth? Are you willing to die alongside truth? Blessed are they which die in the name of the Lord, for they shall rest from their labor. You think I fear death? Do you think that George Boston Rines feared death? God have taken me up into the mountaintop, and he sat me down on the pinnacle of the temple. Just like Martin Luther King. He said, I've been to the mountaintop, and I have looked over. I may not get there with you, but we as a people will get to the promised land. And he even told white folk, if you can read between the lines, he said this, Dr. King, do to us what you will. Put your dogs on us. Shoot us down like wild animals. And we gonna beat you down by our ability to suffer. We gonna wear you down, white man. And Uncle Toms and wicked black folk, we gonna wear you down too. We gonna die for righteousness' sake. We know about what y'all set up talking about the Queen of England, and that she sits on the throne of King David, and that she's going to sit there to the return of the Messiah. We know about that lie, and we know it's a lie. Now you're getting into religion now, and I don't like religion. I don't even like refried beans. You want to check and Google the oldest lineage, human lineage on this planet. You better not go to Europe. Go to the Ethiopians. Go to the black Ethiopians. Haile Selassie, Bob Marley. Go back and chase the lineage of King David. And here a white person sitting on the throne, they say, that represent King David. That's right. King David. Sons of Solomon 1 and 5. If Queen Elizabeth and what the Meghan situation over there now, because they got some black lineage in what they call the royal family, well, hell, go backwards. Go backwards. You know about the other girl in your lineage already had blackness in your lineage. Not to mention, if you go back to King Solomon 1 and 5, Sons of Solomon, and Solomon said, I am black, oh comely ye daughters of Jerusalem. And look not on me because the sun has turned me that way. I used to hate I was a black man. I prayed to God on our 50 acres of land over there in Brooks County at the foot of the hill. I prayed and asked God to turn me into a white man. No, I ain't ashamed to say it because it's the truth. And I'm going to always live and die for the truth. I don't play games because I don't have to. I used to. I used to play games. When I was a traditional minister, like the ones you see today and you give your money to. Yeah, I used to be just like that. But one day I failed on my way to the bus station. Now I have an individual here named Bobby Worthy. He just sent me something on my text. It says, don't forget the hangman's noose in Valdosta. You know, I've published so much. I need people like Bobby Worthy and others. to remind me of what I've published. I published so much. Yes, there was a noose hanging at Baycraft out there in Industrial Boulevard. These Negroes called me because they had gone to the Valdosta Daily Times and the news media. They wouldn't publish about the nooses. I interviewed approximately 12, 14 people. I went before the Valdosta Mayor and Council and I brought it before them. The news media in South Georgia, the TV station, the radio station, they all was there. They should have heard it. But they ain't published a damn thing to the general public about it. That's right. The FBI posted when I investigated, they didn't do nothing. They said it wasn't true. Well, I'm saying to you, just hold your horses, because it's coming up again. It's coming up again. All this stuff is coming up again. Just like Lazarus was dead, graveyard dead, but he came up again. All these souls that are crying out for justice here in the state of Georgia, these people that murdered these black folk believe they got away with it. I'm talking about for 200 and 300 years, they think they got away with it. But they're coming up again. The death of Earl Evans in Quitman, they burned him up in a police car because he was dating a white woman. He was a police officer and they shot him dead. No justice received. But what got me the most is that all these little few things that I've mentioned here in Valdosta, that's nothing compared to what I've seen on my road. Let's go east this morning. Go to Homerville. I've been there. And I know the news media would not publish about a councilman by the name of Witherspoon with the homestead exemption in Florida, homestead exemption in Lowndes County, holding public office in Clinch County, and didn't even have a domicile there. Bobby Worthy, the NAACP, Malone, they all stood up over there for what was right. For what was right, not for what was wrong. What did your news media say about that? I'm telling you all, we are living in the fulfillment of divine prophecy. You can believe it or let it alone. Jesus said, heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will stand forever. Wait a minute. I haven't finished yet. Go to Waycross, Georgia. I've been there. And look at what the police have done. Look at how Malone and other civil rights organizations have fought for justice and received none. Brunswick, I've been there. There's no justice there. They got rid of that black mayor there because he wasn't no good for the people. Bobby Worthy stood up against him in bold fashion. I'm not lifting up Bobby Worthy. I ain't gonna lift nobody up. But the thing is, wherever the truth is, let the truth be spoken so that people can be made free. Now, when I get on this channel and I go live, everybody want to call me. I'm asking you all to excuse that call. I think they're deliberate. I don't know. But it's all okay. Because when I repost this, I'm going to cut that out. And it's going to be out there a long time. Because I'm not saying anything. And I've never said anything since I've been doing this since 1975 that I'm not willing to face in a court of law. Everything I speak, I'm willing to face it in a court of law. That's why I'm very straight in what I speak. I don't play games. Come on round to Douglas and Olivia Coley Pearson. They beat that black woman down like I don't know what. I didn't always agree with her, still don't. Just like I didn't always agree with Marion Whipperloo in Gordon, Georgia. But it ain't for me to agree with them, because the same way God put a calling on my life, they have callings on their life. And the book says, let every man abide in his own calling. Let every man abide in his own calling. I don't care if you don't do nothing but touch a flea. If that's what God called you to do, I'm pleased with that. I may not agree with you, but I'm not going down on you. But I'm going to give you the truth, the best that I can. Douglas, Georgia. I talked to Roscoe Allen last night. He called me from the Coffee County Jail 3 times last night. 3 times. Called me collect. Something he wanted to get off his chest, and I'm not going to tell you what he talked about, because it ain't none of your business. But I'll tell you, he called me. Whatever we do in this life, we should be wise as serpents and harmless as a dove. Wait a minute, I haven't finished yet. Go to Willacoochee, Georgia. Voter suppression. Voter intimidation. Man running for mayor paying black folks to vote for him. Driving around in a state representative car. Bobby Worthy again, NAACP. And those individuals stood, they called a press conference with the white control, the white powerful news media. They didn't show up. Guess who did show up? Guess who showed up? You're right, I did. Like a fool. Because I didn't get gas money for going. But I love you so much. And I love your children so much. That I'm willing, out of 60,000 people, 50 or 60,000 people here in Valdosta, to say to the mayor, Scott Matheson, and to the county commissioner, and all those elected officials in the police department, they won't even fly a Georgia flag over the courthouse here in the Southern Judicial Circuit in honor of your children that are in uniform, and some of them have died on the battlefield, and these elected won't even fly a Georgia state flag over the courthouse, over the museum, over the VA clinic, over the Rainwater Conference Center, over USDA, over the post office. Not even a National Guard armory. And we got so many small, simple-minded black folk here that are kissing up to others until they won't even stand up and say boo. As a retired military veteran, I don't know what in hell done happened to the veterans. I don't know what in hell happened to these veterans who put their life on the line to go fight for this nation and won't even fight after they get back to the United States to ensure that their fellow comrades in arms is respected by flying a Georgia state flag here in the city of Valdosta State. Home of Valdosta State University. It's sickening. Now, your news media won't publish none of this. This ain't news to them. When I was called out, for the NAACP called me to go out and move to Air Force Base, because during after President Barack Obama won the presidency, commissioned to white officers, let me say it again, white officers at Moody Air Force Base and black non-commissioned officers called the NAACP and said that they didn't even they wouldn't even display Barack Obama picture in the wing commander's headquarters building. Now, call me a lie. I went out and recorded and got it on video. If you Google Moody Air Force Base and no picture of President Barack Obama, you shall see the video. I met with the wing commander in the red brick building. But guess what happened? When President Donald Trump was elected, you got it right. Yeah, they got him displayed. Valdosta Daily Time didn't publish that. WLB TV, CBS, 26, 27. Boy, I tell you, we black folks something else, ain't we? Yet we'll fight the wars of this nation. This nation don't give a damn about us. And it's time for us to wake up after 465 years in North America. And let me set the record straight. Let me set the record straight. We as black people did not come to America in 1619. That's another lie they done told. And you think I'm lying? Check it out. I don't want you to believe nothing I say. I want you to do your own research like I did. When I heard somebody tell me of the Nation of Islam that we came to these shores in the year 1555 aboard a slave ship called Jesus, captained by a white European man by the name of Sir John Hawkins, I didn't believe it. So I researched it. That wasn't good enough for me, because when I get the truth, I want a truth that I can stand on from here to the duration or doomsday. So I wrote the Library of Congress, and they sent me back a document that I have today and will always have. We came to these shores, the first ship. I ain't talking about the Portuguese slave trade, because we know that was earlier. Yes, it was. I've done my homework, man. And I can stand on it. And if you got better, bring it. And watch me sit down. And if you have the greater truth, I will bow to you. When I was a young man, I thought I had the truth in Christendom until I got out and found out that I ran across a wolf, the real wolf. I'm selling wolf tickets about Jesus. And when I got out there and saw that Christianity, the baby religion, compared to the other truths on this planet, I bow my head to the greater truth. That's where I am today. Y'all just read, all I need 66 books. Yeah, 66 books got everything in it. Yeah, you think so? The 66 books also got 8 books in it in the book of 2 Chronicles, and I can show them to you. Books mentioned in the Bible, but are not in the Bible. Call me a lie. Call me a lie. I've done my homework because I was given so many lies as a child until I had headaches. I ain't never had high blood pressure or sugar diabetes or cholesterol in my life. Never been stressed out in the middle of nothing. Ain't on no medication. Only medication I'm on is on truth medication. And I'm trying to give it to you, but I can't get you to open your mouth. Now, let me go back. Why is it that the white-dominated news media don't want to publish the news in the black community? Why is it that in Douglas, they got newspapers up there, but they don't serve the needs of the black community? Now, I may not get an amen on that. But if you want to call me in, like the Douglas Enterprise sent me a little letter, and I appreciate them doing it. I love criticism. And I'm willing, anybody in the world that want to interview me or debate with me, I'm available. And I guarantee you that when you debate with me, I will never, ever get angry with you. Never. I will not even get loud when I'm speaking with you in a conversation or a debate. I will never interrupt you while you're speaking. furthermore, if it's an hour debate, you can take 45 minutes to criticize me and call me all these names that somebody have already called me. All I ask is 15 minutes to defend myself. And by the grace of God, I do believe my point and my position will be clearer than you could ever make. Because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Olivia Coley Pearson, strong black woman. They say her mother was stronger than she is. And like I said earlier, because I'm not going to lie, she'll tell you I said this. I don't agree with some things she does. Sure don't. But I couldn't do no better. What you mean, Brother Rhymes? I told you earlier, if you was listening, that wasn't called for me. God called her for that job. And for me to try to get in her shoes will only mess it up. And God ain't gonna allow that. I left off with Willacoochee, Georgia. Then I went back to Valdosta for a reason. Nichols, Georgia. Former president of the NAACP took me to Nichols, Georgia's City Hall. Saved $150,000 missing in that city. Saved $150,000. Now you're talking about District Attorney Sansop and others up there in that judicial system that Presley say wouldn't even look into the matter. Let's go a little further, y'all. Normally I take the west, but I'm taking the east today. I started in Homerville and I'm going on up now. Telfair County, Georgia. I spoke before Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp about voter suppression and all that at a meeting in Macon. And there I met Sheriff Stephen, a white sheriff, who we became friends, I thought. Come to find out, he supported Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp. So it seems like he's a Republican. I ain't got nothing against Republicans. Nothing against Democrats. Like Minister Farrakhan and Elijah Muhammad said years ago. He said, well, y'all used to be Republicans, black folk. Well, just when they tell y'all used to be Republicans as if though we crazy as hell, you tell them I said. We have always voted for the devil or Satan or Beelzebub. And regardless of who we vote for, we still end up in hell and go deeper in hell. And black folk were brought up on bogus voter fraud charges. Sheriff Stevenson stood up for what was right. He was white. He called me over, him and I sat down for a long time. Haven't finished yet. I didn't stop there. I was called to Davisboro, Georgia. Black councilman was fighting the white police chief there. Haven't finished yet. Gone down to Warrenton, Georgia with Mayor George Ivey. Google Warrenton Mayor George Ivey. We met in Macon. About 5 mayors met to get to Free Press because, you see, the white news media don't give a damn about these black elected officials. Don't give a damn about them. But St. Luke 4:18. Let me say it again. St. Luke 4:18. Y'all wonder how, I ain't got no what they call them thing in front of me. I ain't reading from that. It's written, this is mine. Whatever board they call them thing they read from. Teleprompters. Mine right here. This is my teleprompter right here. In the third eye, in the spirit of the living God. St. Luke 4:18. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. Because he's anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor and the covenant of saints to the blind. To preach, except for you to set at liberty them that are bruised. That's what Jesus said. Those who are called, and those who know why they are called, those who are chosen by the right hand of God, and know that when you are chosen, No man can set you down. Even in death, you are reigned, because God will recycle your spirit. And in a few more years, these same white folk will have to come back and fight that same spirit, because that is the spirit of the living God. And God said, heaven and earth will pass away, but my word going to stand forever. That means that same righteous spirit going to come back, and they're going to have to fight it all over again. Whatever you bear is coming up again. You can't stop God. No way you can stop it. And that's what white folks need to understand in their churches. In the black church, they preach love, forgiveness, and salvation. To be honest with you, I don't know what they're preaching in white churches. I know my grandma told us that black folk used to work in white people's homes, and they used to run across the Klan uniforms. And there was a code of ethics among black folk. Let's share the information, but let's not talk about it. It got to be a hell of a way to have to live, man. You clean the house of your masters. My grandmama didn't have no masters because we had our own land, but they called on her because she was trustworthy. So she worked for white folks in their homes. She knew things she didn't even share with us until a little later. Grandmother told me and my brother, and y'all have heard me say this before, and I might as well say it this morning. If you see a white woman walking in front of you on the street or sidewalk, you go to the other side. If a white woman go in the house, you come out the house. If a white woman go on the roof, you make it to the basement. If a white woman try to kiss you, turn your ass around and let her kiss back for a while. And you go on home to your family and live another day. My grandma told me about black women who was entertaining white men. And then she decided she wanted to go back to some black juices. And they ended up killing that black man. Nothing was done about it, because law enforcement was in with those in the clique and among the slicks. My grandmother taught me and my brother how to survive in Brooks County because she had seen so many black men. Her mama before her had seen so many black men that was killed. White women pulling on them to get some of the black juices. And they ended up dying. But guess what? Everything the white man did, they thought it was buried. But as God and Jesus said, it's coming up again. Now you see black men walking down the street hand in hand with the white woman, making babies, walking away from them, and there ain't a damn thing they're doing about it. Because God declared in Galatians 6 and 7, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man sow, that shall he also reap. It's coming up again. Y'all have a nice day. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. And above all, let us be a blessing to one another. And another thing, Lord, forgive me. Mary Ann Whippaloo in Gordon, Georgia. Google her. Google Christopher Wright in Dawson, Georgia. That was shot 6 times and left in his mother's yard for dead. His neighbor came over. He was a pastor. I interviewed him. You can see anything that I mentioned here today. It's all been documented. And I have videotapes. I filed them in 3 different states because I don't trust these wicked people at this dispensation. Yeah, they're filed in 3 different states, all my videos. And one day, just maybe, another 100 or 200 years, somebody will come by and say, Rhymes, can I look over your archive and I want to write about the work that you have done? I know that people ask me, Ryan, when you going to write your book? I start writing on books and I got about 10 books. I want all this stuff to be known. So if I don't write about it, I'm going to leave it for someone else to write about it when I'm gone. Because when you look at the Valdosta Daily Times and you read in this paper what they say about open government and freedom of the press, there's another side to this paper I want y'all to know about. And what I have said, you people, what I have said, I have backed it up with old facts and videos. A lot of cases, it's not me talking, there's other people talking. You know what I say? I got to do what God called me to do at the age of 14 years old. Y'all don't understand, my children do. There are things I want to tell you all about when I was 14 years old, that God visited me and told me what to do. And you don't have to believe me, but I'm doing what God told me to do. The question is, are you doing what he told you to do? My life has been threatened. February 5th, 2015 in Gordon, Georgia. I was riding on a public highway in my car, up there fighting for somebody else. Wouldn't get paid for it, or y'all won't give me nothing. Most of you won't even tell me thank you. But it's okay. That don't even bother me. Some of you all won't even talk to me. Some of you all play me as a joke. You think I'm playing a game with you. When I see you going the wrong way, I may say a little something, but I don't even stop you. I don't try to stop you from doing nothing, do I? You who know me, have you ever seen me try to stop you from doing anything that you are doing, even if it's wrong? I give you my view and I leave it alone. You know why? I don't know what God told you to do. And David said, if I fight against you, not knowing what I'm fighting or then I could be fighting God. I could be fighting God. Y'all don't believe that, do you? Y'all think I'm crazy, don't you? Y'all want me to prove that to you? I mean, y'all want to prove that before I quit. Look, God called Moses, right? To go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. But then to make it short, God told Moses, I am going to harden Pharaoh's heart. That wasn't Pharaoh. God said he the one hardened Pharaoh's heart to make it harder. That wasn't Pharaoh, y'all. So what you hating on Pharaoh when God said he was going to do it? I'm asking you all to wake up. Study your third eye, man. Let the Holy Spirit come in and talk to you. Like the devil is talking to his people. Y'all talk about Noah. God told him to go to Nineveh. He go to Joppa, take the opposite direction. Don't criticize Noah. That's the route he took to do what God said. He ended up doing what God said anyway. God wanted you to have something to talk about so you wouldn't go in the opposite direction. So that's why he had Noah going that way to help your silly behind out. You want another one? Look at Ezekiel. You think Ezekiel wanted to go down there and talk to them black folk, dry bones in the valley, and get talked about? People laughing at him? Why would he go down there and talk to dry bones in the valley? You think he wanted to do that? You think he wanted to do that? Huh? The book says that the hand of the Lord was upon him. And that hand of the Lord carried him out into the valley that was full of bones. Thank you very much. That was indeed Jonah and not Noah. Jonah and not Noah. Noah built the ark. And there's another whole story behind that. I would like to talk about that story of Noah. I read another part of the story of Noah. Thank you for the correction of Jonah. Thank you so much. That's how we help one another. Sometimes you start talking and it lets you know you ain't perfect. But I am among good people who love to see their little brother be a reflection of the God of creation. And I thank you so much, my beautiful. It's Cody. God bless you. Y'all have a nice day. I'm down here to Rose Church. I didn't come down here to talk that long this morning. I just want to talk about how a city, metro city in Valdosta, only have one newspaper. And it's been that way for decades. Because they don't want you to know the truth. There's no other reason that they would not get another newspaper in here. We had some, but that click and that slick is so tight. And eventually, you see this like they won't fly a Georgia flag. The CDBG grant money, other federal dollars coming in here, black folk don't get none of it. But I will assure you that one day, there are going to be some could be fighting God. I could be fighting God. Y'all don't believe that, do you? Y'all think I'm crazy, don't you? Y'all want me to prove that to you? Y'all want to prove that before I quit. Look, God called Moses, right? To go tell Pharaoh to let my people go. But then to make it short, God told Moses, I am going to harden Pharaoh's heart. That wasn't Pharaoh. God said he the one hardened Pharaoh's heart to make it harder. That wasn't Pharaoh, y'all. So what you hating on Pharaoh when God said he was going to do it? I'm asking you all to wake up. Study your third eye, man. Let the Holy Spirit come in and talk to you. Like the devil is talking to his people. Y'all talk about Noah. God told him to go to Nineveh. He go to jump or take the opposite direction. Don't criticize Noah. That's the route he took to do what God said. He ended up doing what God said anyway. God wanted you to have something to talk about so you wouldn't go in the opposite direction. That's why he had Noah going that way to help your silly behind out. You want another one? Look at Ezekiel. You think Ezekiel wanted to go down there and talk to them black folk, dry bones in the valley, and get talked about? People laughing at him? Why would he go down there and talk to dry bones in the valley? You think he wanted to do that? You think he wanted to do that? Huh? The book says that the hand of the Lord was upon him. And that hand of the Lord carried him out into the valley that was full of bones. Thank you very much. That was indeed Jonah and not Noah. Jonah and not Noah. Noah built the ark. And there's another whole story behind that. I would like to talk about that story of Noah. I read another part of the story of Noah. Thank you for the correction of Jonah. Thank you so much. That's how we help one another. Sometimes you start talking and it lets you know you ain't perfect. But I am among good people who love to see their little brother be a reflection of the God of creation. And I thank you so much, my beautiful. It's Coley. God bless you. Y'all have a nice day. I'm down here to Rose Church. I didn't come down here to talk that long this morning. I just want to talk about how a city, metro city in Valdosta, only have one newspaper. And it's been that way for decades. Because they don't want you to know the truth. There's no other reason that they would not get another newspaper in here. We had some, but that click and that slick is so tight. And eventually, you see this like they won't fly a Georgia flag. The CDBG grant money, other federal dollars coming in here, black folk don't get none of it. But I will assure you that one day, there are going to be some there will be suits filed in Valdosta. They got to be filed. George Floyd case, the family just received, I think, $27 million. That's what's going to have to happen to Valdosta. There got to be a lot of lawsuits filed here in Valdosta. And they coming, I know they're coming. As more and more people, what you would call outsiders, come into Valdosta, and they're not going to put up with what these scary people in Valdosta are putting up with. We have people coming to Valdosta from all over the world now. They don't like what they see, black and white, and they let it be known. They're trying to get Forest Street renamed from Nathan Bedford Forest to President Barack Obama Boulevard. They're working on it now. But what they don't know, and they don't think it could ever happen, the Valdosta will change. See, they don't want to put the Georgia flag up. There are businesses here that used to fly the old Confederate flag on their businesses, but when the new flag was implemented by Georgia legislature, they wouldn't put up the new flag. That's why you don't see many flags over businesses now many businesses in South Georgia. And they think we so damn ignorant and stupid and low down and ignorant until we don't even understand what they're doing. What puzzles me sometimes is all these people who think that all veterans just don't give a damn. I'm speaking up because I want y'all to know that I'm one veteran who love your children. I love your daughters, your sons, your mothers, fathers, auntie, and uncles who are in the armed forces. They are Democrats, they are Republicans, they are liberal, a Green Party, Libertarian. I love you all as a veteran. Black, white, Jew, Gentile, Protestant, Catholic, Methodist, whatever you are. I don't hate none of you. And so when I say that there's not a Georgia state flag flying in your honor, and yet you put your life on the line for this country, I don't give a damn if a veteran don't say a damn thing about it. I'm going to continue to talk about your children. They deserve to be honored and not lied to on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. I get sick of that bushwash. I get sick of it. Stand up and talk about how they love our veterans and how they support the troops and how they believe in family values. If you believe in family values so much, how could you break up the black family and just rape our men? Oh, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Come on, don't stop. Y'all know what, I got to get off of here. I got other things to do. But I love you all so much that I got to give you the truth. Y'all have a nice day. May God bless you and let each of us be a blessing to one another. Cheryl, I thank you for listening. All of you who tuned in, I want to thank you. Olivia Coley Pearson. Thank you all. Barbara Buris. I'm just not going to call names. I thank God for all of you all for tuning in, because most people do not want to hear words like such as this. If you don't want to hear me speak, go to my channel and listen to other people speak. Go and watch where I went into the courtroom. I got a call yesterday. They want me in the courtroom in Cordele in a few days. They want me to be in Brunswick week after next, at the end of this month. Well, I don't know whether I'm going to these events or not. See, I've gotten a little older now, and I think it's time for me to let somebody else do this type of work. After all, you all don't appreciate it. No way, most of them. Y'all have a nice day. May God bless you. Bye-bye.